You want to hear some cool things about my time operating in the mountains of southern India? I was volunteering as a neurosurgeon, and in the OR, everyone was essentially barefoot. The nurses were completely barefoot. The surgeons would sometimes wear flip flops, which were laid out in the front of the OR to put on before you went in. They thought shoes were incredibly dirty, and why would anyone wear shoes into the OR? I had a hard time with this. So the hospital got me some rubber boots and I would wear those in the OR while everyone else was essentially barefoot. During the cases, the anesthesiologist would sit there and squeeze a bag to ventilate the patient the whole case. In the US, we have ventilation machines, which they're called ventilators, and they breathe air in and out of the lungs the whole time while the anesthesiologist just monitors. But there, the anesthesiologist is the lungs of the patient, slowly and methodically squeezing that bag of air in and out of the patient's lungs the whole case. After surgery, someone would be always waiting for me with a cup of hot Indian sweet milk tea. And it was so delicious. I loved it. And it was their way of showing appreciation and respect. And gosh, I was so appreciative to have that cup of tea afterwards. Patients after surgery almost never took opioids. In fact, they would take Tylenol and NSAIDs and sometimes not even that. They were just so tough and stoic and appreciative. It was really a refreshing thing to see. The medical equipment that we use in the OR and in the hospital was reused over and over and over. In the US, almost everything is disposable, but there they'd have towels that looked like they were eaten by moths. They had been washed so many times. And every other piece of equipment that could be sterilized was. Operating there was quite an experience, very different from what I'm doing now. But I'm back in the US now and I'm operating back in the conditions that I trained in. And I always think back to how well patients did in just such basic conditions that they had in the mountains of southern India. And it's just really cool. So if you want to hear more from me, I now have a podcast too. It's called the Dr. Kumar Discovery. My name's Dr. Ravi Kumar. I'm a neurosurgeon, and I like to tell stories and use storytelling to teach people how to make the best of their health and wellness. I talk about a lot of science in my podcast, but I also include a lot of stories. So if you'd like to hear more from me, just search up my podcast. It's called the Dr. Kumar Discovery. Cheers.